what I like to say to these marketing companies is prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. So if they're out there trying to sell you something before they've even done a diagnosis, they don't even have any x-rays or CT scans. How can you make a diagnosis if you don't even have any equipment to do the analysis? Hey, Mia.
Hi.
Hey, there's Jeremy.
Hey.
See you next week.
Yeah, man. Next week.
Well, briefly, if we can, on the 16th or 17th or whatever. Hey, there's Chuck.
Chuck showing up.
There he is.
Yep.
Okay, so we got a bunch of smart people here to do a little auditing. And Chuck, you've got multiple of these under Doucet. Do you want to look at restoration or plumbing?
Yeah, the restoration. That's the only one I really have any control over right now.
Okay. So the beauty of being Googleable is that you can instantly see what's going on from a search engine's point of view. So I might look at this and say, this is great. You know, you've got the professional video. It shows the different kinds of things you can fix. And, you know, all these people say, oh, fire, flood, mold, whatever, all these things, right? So me as a layperson looking at this, I'd be like, looks fine to me, right? But from a search engine standpoint, I can see that we don't have many keywords that we rank on. So you do rank on water damage restoration pros, which is new, high volume term, low keyword difficulty because it's green. And in Lafayette, Louisiana, you are showing up in the local pack. You can show up in different ways, right? Images, you know, we do a search on, like if I do a search, water damage, restoration, Lafayette, and that's a long term. But if I just do that, there's ads, of course. There's the 3-pack GMB. There's people also ask. There's Twitter. There's video. There's like all kinds of stuff, right? Here's all these related searches, right? So there's different ways that we can show up, and we want to show up in all of them. So you can see here with these SF, which is search engines results pages features. Like these are all the different ways that we could show up. So you have links here, right? You have ads that are great, images. A lot of these are local pack, which is good. So it makes sense. Someone's typing in water damage, Lafayette. And recently you moved from position 8 to 5 or from nothing to 6. And so these are good. We want more of these, especially these ones that are low keyword difficulty. These are all very easy. This is super easy. Lafayette Mold Damage Restoration Company. You are showing up in the local pack, and soon you're going to see more like discussion in forums. And Google has a lot of what they're calling like the AI answer, which is search generative experience, like all the different ways of showing up on Google. So these have been moving up, and these are good. But notice this, all of these terms that you're ranking on, all the weight is carried by pretty much the home page. See that? The home page is having to carry all of these because it means your location service pages are not carrying the weight. So this is like a glass is half full kind of thing, right? Plus, you might look at this and say, well, 91 keywords, is that good or bad? I mean, 91, that sounds like a lot. Should be several thousand. And as Mia and Parker know, by doing things the right way, which is not a secret, which is building out the location service pages with the things that you actually do, we're going to see that it's not, you see how the big blue bar is all on the homepage, like all the traffic's on the homepage, right? Which is good. But here, emergency services, water damage, smoke, asbestos, none of these get any traffic, any love from Google. And these are all super easy keywords to go after. So then we might ask, well, maybe we should ask Mia or Parker to explain. Pick any one of Chuck. Pick any one of these that you want to look at.
I guess it's the fourth one down. The water damage restoration.
Water damage, right? So let's look at it from the standpoint of Google, and let's have Parker and Mia do this. So you're Google, and you're seeing this page, and we're trying to rank on water damage restoration or any combination of that, Lafayette, or any related sort of city near Lafayette. How is Google going to look at this? What are they looking for? What do you see or not see?
So for all these pages, for every
actually, how about this? I know Parker knows the answer, so I don't want to give it. That's too easy. I want Mia to answer. Put you on the spot. I know it's only been a couple months or whatever, but let's test. I'm all about making this transparent because people say, "Oh, Dennis knows, so we just have Dennis do it." No, you do not need a search engine engineer to tell you these things. Okay?
Right. Can you scroll down a little bit on it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like there's a lot of things to click on it. I mean, I see it says Lafayette on there, which is good.
So he does say Lafayette. So he's placing this as water damage restoration in Lafayette, Louisiana. So he's saying that several ways, restoration, and there's a lot of terms related to restoration. So yes, that's true. He even says water damage, probably like as an H1. So
Right.
yes, it's saying all these things. And to your point about links, there's
Yeah.
there's no authority on this page. Well, the site has no authority either. So there's no authority to pass down, but there's no links coming to it. And this is the number one, this has got half of his power, this one page, and the rest is on the home page. So he's basically, the website basically has 2 pages, and it has 11 cents worth of value every month, which is nothing, right? But why? Why is that? So you're right, Mia, there's no links coming to it. So there's no votes of trust. There's no traffic, which is also a vote of trust, or, the GMB linking to this or whatnot. What else are we looking for? What else is missing? Here, I'll give you a hint. So Google, what's that?
What about the phone number? Is the phone number on there?
Let's see. Should be at the top here. It is. Yeah. And it's a click to call. So that's good. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. This is so easy. Okay, look. This is something that we read often. Google explained that their quality rater guidelines went from EAT to get an extra E for experience. Why? Because there's so much AI generated nonsense, or the VAs are just like, or article writers. Like we did an audit yesterday with this guy who is, he's not an unethical guy. He has 2 agencies that do 7 figures serving home service businesses, but he has a team of writers who just auto-generate on whatever the thing is, on, pool cleaning or mold, like whatever it is, for the city, just auto-generating articles just like the one you see here. But what Google says is the experience is key. Does the content also demonstrate that it was produced with some degree of experience, such as with actual use of the product, having actually visited the place or communicating what that person experienced? There's some situations where really what you value is content produced by someone who has firsthand life experience on the topic at hand. For example, if you do taxes, show that you're actually doing the taxes, show you're using the software, show you're doing the thing that you say that you do in the city that you do it. So if we apply Google standards, oh, by the way, I think me and Parker should know this, but Chuck and Jeremy don't need to. But you see this search rater guidelines, this 170-page document. Google has shared this for years, and they modify it every year and whatnot. But this goes on for 170 pages, basically explaining you need to show that you actually do the thing that you do. Show your technicians, show the homes, show the places in Lafayette, show, how many jobs have you done, show your reviews, show the licenses you have, show the the people that you show, the trucks that you have, show all the stuff that you actually do the thing that you say that you do. That it goes on for 170 pages to basically explain that, because all these SEO people will try to argue, as you saw in yesterday's 90-minute call, they'll just try to argue that they're doing it correctly when really they're producing pages that look just like this. So based on what you know, Chuck, what Google has said about what they're looking for, very clear, right? EEAT, experience. They want to see lots and lots of experience sprinkled in here. How do you think this page does using Google's EEAT standards against, emergency 24/7 water damage restoration, Lafayette, Louisiana? How do we do against Google standards?
I'm going to assume that we do pretty horrible.
But you don't need to assume. So I could take all this, copy, paste, and go into ChatGPT, which Mia and Parker are now experts in using, and copy paste, and I'll say, Jeremy's seen this before, which is why he's smiling because it's so easy. Like once you see it, it's so obvious. Like you can't even argue it. My friend Chuck runs a restoration. By the way, these SEO companies will never show you this because they don't even know how to do it. They don't, we're literally having to teach them this stuff, which is how could you not even know about Google's quality rater guidelines? Restaurant in Lafayette. I could probably speak it faster than typing it. Here is his page on water damage. Pull out specific EEAT items from this page, especially experience, and show how he's doing against EEAT and PAA. Name specifically the questions, which PAAs people also ask, right? Because you do a search and it shows here's the other things people also ask, naming cost and what's it, how do we do it and can they come right away? And questions being answered and not.
That's what I was trying to explain to you earlier, Chuck, about the PAA. I just didn't know the term. I was trying to tell you in restoration meathead, terminology, so I didn't.
No, but it's not a search engine thing. Okay, yes, there's acronyms. Oh, Dennis, you use so many acronyms. And no, but really, like Google says, do you actually show the experience that you have technicians that are out there doing this stuff, that you're fixing stuff, that you submit claims to the insurance company, that everything's repaired like new, like it never happened, like all that kind of stuff. As you get the estimate, the whole process, right? Are you showing that you actually do the thing? That's what they're saying, right? And now I'm asking the AI and I'm pasting in that whole thing, that whole web page, and I'm saying, now go ahead and evaluate it. And it'll come back immediately because that's what the AI does, right? I pasted it in and it'll say like, okay, Restoration Pros has been serving Lafayette for 8 years, but it doesn't really go any further. It doesn't show tons of pictures and stories and reviews and pictures of your vans. And I mean, yeah, you have some certifications and okay, triple, A+ rating, but there's so much more that you could have. So you do answer some of these people also ask questions. And so the ChatGPT is neutered Butler, where it's being polite to you, but it's basically saying you're not really answering these questions at all. And you really need to add more stuff here. Okay. Like actual real life experience. So the good news is, so Chuck, do you want it as a glasses half full or glasses half empty? You want it sugar-coated or do you want it straight?
Oh, no, straight. Glasses half empty.
Okay. In spite of this being your top web page, which ranks on whatever, like 40 keywords, and even though this page is so weak, if you have a folder that has pictures and videos and images, like I could search this image to see like, is this actually your image or not? Right? If you merely could sprinkle in your actual experiences and stories, this one actually is yours. So that's good.
Yeah, they should. We were big on using non-stock images, so
Good.
It should all be it should be ours.
Okay, good. They look like real pictures and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
But this doesn't have an author. So it should say, by Chuck to create authority, which then links to your profile. It should say something about your process. It should say like, we've been doing it for 8 years in Lafayette, but here's something about Lafayette, or here's, we have more people in this area, or like, I don't know, just something. It doesn't, this stuff here where you're talking about water damage is generic content that if I started a restoration company in Lafayette, I could say all the same things here too. Oh, we'll do this. We'll apply antimicrobial, to promote. Like I could say everything here that you're saying. So you really have to highlight your real experience. So you have this. Why choose us? But there's so little of it here.
Yeah, I've said that since day one. I said that since day one that I felt it was so generic. It felt like it almost feels like a restoration template.
It is a template, and then all the other ones.
Yeah.
Let's look at this. So choose any one of these cities.
Youngsville.
All right. And guess what? Youngsville is basically the same thing. It's a template. There's nothing about Is there anything here about Youngsville?
So if I'm understanding this correctly, and this would go back to previous websites I've had, all of those cities had their own page, which I think this one does. But when you got to that page, it actually either had work we did in Youngsville, but also talked about Youngsville. That would be helpful is what I'm hearing, correct?
Yeah, you don't need to redesign the website or put it on a new platform. You need to put the meat on the bones. There's no meat here. I mean, it's trying to say in huge water damage restoration in Youngsville, Louisiana. Like, obviously, this is trying to trick the search engine to show up in Youngsville. Youngsville this, Youngsville that, right? But this doesn't, A, it doesn't please the search engine, and B, it doesn't actually show the user that you're authoritative and experienced and all this. I mean,
in other words,
part's good.
If it showed us working at the office of the big country club in Youngsville with pictures of technician and vans in front of the signage, which was easily identified, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, Chuck, you're now an SEO expert because you've said the very thing that's necessary to win. Like survey says, the whole like Family Feud where they have to guess like the 10 most popular flavors of ice cream or whatever. You hit the number one answer. So given that that you have to actually show that you have experience in Youngsville and here's your technicians and you did this one site, you're connected to the mayor, here's, all this stuff. Is that something that someone who is an SEO expert who doesn't know anything about Youngsville and doesn't know anything about water damage restoration can actually help you with? I'm a search engine engineer. Who's going to do a better job, Mia or me, in optimizing your business?
I don't know. I don't know Mia yet.
Well, it needs to be Mia.
It needs to be Mia. I'm a search engine engineer telling you this.
I'm trying not to throw Mia under the bus, guys.
No, we're not. We're elevating her. We're not throwing her under the bus. It's like attacking her and making her bad. We're not making her look bad. But with a little help on exposing obvious things like we talked about here, Like this is not some weird like technical engineering programming thing we're talking about. This is merely understanding Google's very clear about what they want.
Now, let me ask you something, Dennis.
Yeah.
And real quick, for instance, this weekend we do a lot of local events like cook-offs, fundraisers, just things
Yeah.
in the community that are not water damage related. Okay, but we're there.
Yeah.
Chance, our people, our shirts, our technicians,
Yeah,
we're
yes,
doing a
yeah.
jambalaya cooking contest benefit this weekend in Youngsville. It's
Yeah.
coincidentally. What you're saying is I don't have to necessarily post necessarily that we did water damage to get a little. I'm gonna call it Google juice because that's what I consider it.
Yeah.
But we could post that photo or whatever at that Youngsville Sports Complex, clearly showing that we're there.
Mhm.
Is it important that these photos are sent a certain way? I mean, obviously, you want all the metadata intact and unmodified.
You already know that. You're already answering your question. You know the answer.
But does it matter if it comes from, like, I use an iPhone? Does it matter if I do it from my camera roll, or do I need to use my Google, upload it to Google Photos first?
You're thinking too hard.
Okay.
So here, you are a local service business. There are a lot of restoration companies in other cities, right?
Mhm.
So you need to show that yes, you're a restoration company, but in all the cities around Youngsville and Lafayette and whatnot, you need to send that clear signal. And you don't, because you're, as you even noted, the content on each of these pages looks like generic template content that could be on any restoration. There's nothing that screams New Iberia, Louisiana, right?
No.
And does it have to be that you did, restore, there was, this house burned down in this city? Yeah, you could do that, but it could be anything. It could be like, here's a restaurant, or here's my favorite jambalaya at the cook-off, or here's anything that shows that you are doing something in that city.
And I mean,
And then your question about like the phone. Here,
Yeah.
watch this. I have an iPhone, okay? And I pay the $10 a month for the iCloud, or no, it's like $34 a month because I have the Apple One, because I want the 4 terabytes of storage. Because you have Apple One, they give you like 2 extra terabytes. But I also pay $10 a month for the Google Photos. And I advise anyone, whether it's Jeremy or me or you or anyone who's kind of Parker too, as a figurehead, to pay for both. Well, why would I pay for both? Well, because there's all kinds of reasons why. But if I look at, can't even spell Louisiana.
Our work email, we use Google Workspace, so we have like 30 Google Workspace paid.
Yeah, and you get unlimited storage and all, so you have a whole shared drive.
So I can use that then. Yeah.
Yeah. So just for fun, like name any city in the world.
Denver, Colorado.
Denver. So you know that these photos are automatically tagged with the metadata information with, Denver, Colorado. So you can see that this is the Aspen Marathon, but it must have said Denver in here somewhere. Or maybe this is a meal in the airport, I think. No, it's not the airport, but anyway, it's this place. But the Basalt, that's not Denver. It's outside of Denver. You can see, like, here's a boarding pass, Denver, right? So Denver, on the plane on Southwest. Denver is a hub, so you can imagine, And this is my buddy who is the number one real estate agent in Denver. Sells more homes than anybody in Colorado, actually, because he's number one in Denver, which is the main thing. And, we're doing tours of different homes and his 50, 60 agents or whatever it is. We're having a meal, right? And this is all kinds of Denver. So, this is in the airport, I think. Yeah, this is in Denver International Airport. This is the state that I forgot the name of the place, but, zoom in on it. But all the stuff is here. And so if you have a shared folder, because you've got Google Workspace, all your technicians can upload these things here. And then it becomes something that a VA you have, or maybe Mia hires a VA for all the other restoration companies, can provide this as a service to help everyone pimp out the signal on their website. So this is one for Youngsville, and you have all these other, where's that one? We had all the cities, right? In the bottom of all these cities, right? So let's just start adding actual stuff to Youngsville and St. Martinville and all these other places. And who cares if it's, Zatarain's or Creole or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be restoration. It has to be either related to restoration or the city. And so this is not an SEO technical thing. This is hey, let's increase the signal strength. So in Abbeville, like, do we have anything about Abbeville? Not really. It's like, this is so easy. There's nothing here about Abbeville. It's the same thing over and over. It's just the repeated text, as if somehow the search engines are going to say this is okay. Well, it probably is, because there's so little competition for people in Abbeville that type in water damage near me or Abbeville water restoration, like all the different combinations of that query, right? So what the biggest thing you have to do from an SEO standpoint, which no SEO expert or marketing company will tell you, is we have to enhance the EEAT on all these, because this is the same thing you put on all, like this is the same thing. Okay. It's literally this is people say, oh, but I'd rather pay you guys to do it because you're the experts in this. No, this is like, just work with Mia and Parker, hire another VA, have a shared folder where you have all this stuff, and then they can just start pasting stuff in here. So people in Abbeville can say like, oh, yeah, here's their vans in Abbeville, and here's some of their people, and one of their technicians actually grew up in Abbeville, and you know what I mean? Just like increase, like show like you actually do the thing.
And you have the VA actually have access to make changes on the site.
It could be the VA, it could be a high school student. I mean, anyone who goes through our training, which we happily share. I think that's why Jeremy wanted to have this call, to show, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to show we can get all the restoration companies together to help each other. So if you have actual real experience, you've been doing it for 20 years, well, I imagine there's a lot of stuff you could put here, and then you put it on social media, right? You put it on YouTube, you put it on all the different places. Why? Because then it's going to show up in all these SERP features here. These are all the different ways that you can show up, right? Videos and images and news and text and Twitter and like all that. There's so many ways to show up, right? And here, water and fire restoration company, New Iberia, Louisiana. That is a very easy keyword. There's only 10 people searching per month, and it's a keyword difficulty of 0. And we're in position 10. How are there 9 people ahead of us on this keyword? Like, how do you win 3rd place in the beauty contest when there's only 3 contestants? Come on. Why don't we dominate? Anything here that's a keyword difficulty less than 5? Water mitigation, Lafayette. Okay, fine. There's 40 people a month looking on that. We're in position 9. So we get 1 click out of the 40 because we're in position 9, right? And I think you said you've gone through like a bunch of different marketing companies and changed the website many times, but we can see there's no traffic coming through. All the traffic you have, Chuck, is coming through your GMB. Your GMB, it's not your website. It's your GMB. Your website is doing nothing for you. It has no votes of trust. The content, and the reason why is there's no reason for anyone to link to you. The chicken and egg is because these are your top pages. There's the water restoration, which is number 2. Off of the homepage is number 1. But after that, there's nothing. You only have 10 pages here. It should be like 100 pages. Because think of all that in the last 20 years, there's all kinds of things that you could say, how you got started. And this technician now is, you know, they've been here for 5 years and they were an apprentice, but now they're, you know, training up other people and they just had a kid. And there's so many stories that you can tell. There's a chili, whatever, cook-off Cajun thing coming up this weekend. There's so many things that you can talk about to establish that you are in the community doing stuff, whether it's not just people's, you know, there's a flood or their house burned down or something, right? Not just this. It's not that your SEO is terrible. It's that you're not doing things to show the signal that you are involved in the community and your people do a good job. Okay, yeah, you know, your AAA rating, Better Business Bureau, all that's great. But you see what I'm saying? Like, this is like hit you in the face obvious, right? What needs to be here. I mean, you have location service pages, but they're so barren. There's like nothing there. So you don't need a new website. You just need to put the meat on the bones. You don't need to hire someone for $2,500 a month. You just need, you know, however long, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, just to get the stuff up on the site. This is fine, right? I mean, maybe the website loads a little slow, but aside from that, there's nothing wrong with the website, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, that's what I definitely want to do. I want to have the control to do it the right way because, and Jeremy and I have talked about this, no one's going to be invested in the website or any of that more than us, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a contractor is just they're just getting paid to do the job. They don't care as much as the person who owns the business. And it's always the case as an entrepreneur.
It is. And I know that, and I've always known that, but I've been able to live with it up to a certain degree, but I've noticed the last, you know, whatever, couple of years that it's just, I mean, you can see it. I can see it by the amount of phone calls. I can see it when I go in the monthly meetings with the people who manage my SEO. Ask them hard questions.
They're managing your SEO, but what does that mean? What are they even doing?
Exactly.
So my whole goal with us spending time together today is to make it super obvious, Chuck, in plain English, what is SEO and what needs to happen. And once you understand what needs to happen and it's very clear, then you know who has to do it and how to do it.
Yep.
So no SEO company can do, like, unless they're an actual technician, unless they're working with all your contractors and whatever and collecting the stuff into a folder and then putting it on the site. There's no SEO being done. Literally, what would this, like, I invite people to come to these calls. We have these as public open audits because we want people to see, and you haven't given us any sort of special access. This is all based on public data. I can see this, right? So if I can see it, Google can see it and anyone can see it. right? You didn't give us access to your search console or your analytics or, your local service ads to see if we could tune that, which should be a separate thing where I think me and Parker should work to tune your local service ads, which will make the phone ring clearly, right? 60 bucks a call, 70 bucks a call, whatever it is. And then you mark the calls and that whole thing. But in terms of what an SEO company or marketing company would do, what they would do is tune up these pages, which we can tell have not been done. Number two is they would build real links. So if we look at the links that are coming in, which are votes, there's no links, there's no quality links that are coming in. What they've done is paid for $10 a month directory listings. Whenever we see like yellow pages or these super pages, these are all, they're paying the $10 a month for the directory listings. But in order to have real links that Google says are quality, back to EAT standards, I imagine, Chuck, you've got a lot of fellow business owners and friends in Lafayette that are in home services, that run restaurants, that are, you're involved in the community. And I imagine that you could talk about them. And I imagine they would even link to you, And so there's no better link builder than someone who actually is in restoration. And you and Jeremy are both business owners in different cities because he's in San Antonio. And there's nothing wrong where, Jeremy writes an article about, flood damage, which then, causes all sorts of things, right? Or water damage because there was a leaking pipe. And then he points out to one example of a job that you did, right? And he links to that. And that creates a more signal authority because it's a restoration company that's actually engaging with another restoration company. Both are authoritative, but in different cities. And it's not link trading or link selling because it actually is topical and it's done in a way that's actually helpful, right? Or here's the technique that we use, or here's what, I don't know anything about restoration, but I imagine there's a lot of stuff that you guys that have in common, and you could link between those articles in a non-spammy kind of way. But because I don't know anything about restoration, and because I'm not a restoration company, so I can't link to you. I mean, I could link to you. Like we could take what we're talking about here as an audit and then link to it from our site. So that would be a legitimate way to link. But there's no authority here. The total sum of all the links you have, which are directory links, which pass no juice, is 2.2 out of 100. And then because there's no juice coming to the site, you don't rank on very many keywords. And so it's just traffic goes up and down, but there's basically no traffic anyway, except on your name, because people are searching on Restoration Pros because for 20 years, you have actually generated a good reputation. So here, Restoration Pros or combinations of Restoration Pros is really the bulk of your traffic from Google, where people are searching for your name because they see your vans in the neighborhood, but they're not searching for, but this whole like water remediation or flood or fire, like you're not getting any traffic out of that because you simply are not putting your experience here to be seen. So that's what I want you to be able to see. I want you to be confident knowing that there's no evidence of any SEO that's been done. None, factually. And I love it when these SEO companies say, oh, well, Dennis doesn't know what he's talking about because SEO is really complicated. And I'm a search engine engineer. My job for 25 years has been to bust people like you trying to trick us. I'm not an SEO person. I'm a search engine engineer.
Yep. Well,
now that you see it, now you know what has to be done. Now you can confidently see young adults like Mia and Parker can get it done and hire up other people. I don't mean to stereotype or, whatever, but usually young adults are better at this sort of thing.
Well, I agree. I'm definitely interested in learning more. I'm sure that needs to be I don't know if it needs to be a different call or whatever, but I definitely
from a strategy standpoint. So you as the business owner, you need to know enough about what needs to happen to be able to evaluate the results, but you don't need to be like hammering in the nails, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. You need to know from an architecture standpoint. So you and Jeremy as business owners need to know enough to understand what has to happen, who is qualified to work on it, supervise, everyone should be submitting a weekly status report on here's what we did. And then you're holding people accountable to the numbers. So how many phone calls did we get? How much money did we spend? What content's working the best? And then Mia and Parker and whoever else will say, hey, Chuck, I know that we really want to get more, flood leads in, this part of town. Well, I need more content, like based on what worked in the last couple of weeks, I need more pictures like this, right? Or I need you to make a video talking about that, right? And then they can give you intelligent feedback based on the data. And that way you're never having to play whack-a-mole or 20 questions. Like, I wonder how my digital marketing is doing. Oh, my SEO company submits this auto-generated 100-page report, which there's no like work being done. It's just like an auto-generated thing with the agency's logo in the top corner. Yeah, but it doesn't tell me anything on what's going on. It doesn't tell me what was actually done. It just shows like, oh, we had these keywords and yeah, but so what? So what? I'm ranking on more keywords. Is it making my phone ring? What do I need to do? Oh, you don't need to do anything. Just keep paying me $2,500 a month because it's all complicated. You focus on remediation. I'll handle all this technical SEO stuff, which is way above your head. I'm just trying to rip away that whole like wool off your face, basically.
Oh, I think it was ripped away before this phone call. I've told Jeremy before that I believe that it's all unicorn dust. That
it's a scam, right? I mean, I
really
hate to be
is.
saying it because the agency owners, it's not like they're like selling you Viagra or penis pills or whatever, but they were, I'll just say it nicely, but they were trained inappropriately. Roger Wakefield and Tommy Mello and I and all these folks say it's not that they're trying to scam. They went to some weekend seminar or some conference to learn how to do digital marketing. Salespeople, these are salespeople, and they're learning how to say a certain thing to talk to a Chuck and say, here's what you say to a Chuck, and then he'll just hand you over $2,500 a month. And then you just outsource it. The majority of the work that's being done is outsourced to white label agencies that do the work on behalf of salespeople that are there to sell you, but they don't know how to do it. So if we were to do an audit like this, or if they were to join us in these calls, I always welcome them in these calls. They're like a person who's in the car dealership, who's wearing the tie, who's trying to sell you on the Ford F-150. But when we pop open the hood, they don't know anything about how to fix the car because they're a salesperson. They outsource that to someone else. We are all mechanics. So I see Parker and Mia and more Parkers and Mias as learning how to become mechanics. But it's not as hard as learning how to fix an engine, as you see. But these agency owners don't, and I won't go on this whole rant because I could spend hours talking about this. They are salespeople who don't have hands-on expertise. They know enough to know more than the remediation company business owner, but you don't need to know much to know more than them and then basically convince them, hey, you should just pay me money. So I love seeing people like me and Parker kick butt. Every time I retired 20 years ago. The thing that makes me excited when I wake up in the morning is when I see these young adults just absolutely kicking butt, even with no experience, right? Or no professional certificate, or like whatever. Like Mia has no claim to be any kind of expert. Yet look at the results that are coming in. And then I want the same thing to happen for you, Chuck. And then you tell everybody, this is how it needs to be done. Fire that SEO company or bring it in-house. Or you can still use the SEO marketing company, but hold them accountable.
And it's all of us business owners, we travel all around the world. We go to conferences. We all talk to each other. We all know each other. We all know something's wrong. We just don't know what to do about it. I'm just now learning what to do about it. We all know, like in our guts, we know this is not right.
Right. Yeah. But what are you going to do about it? So you go on to the fourth and fifth marketing company because what you got to do, you just hire this guy. I know the last three didn't work.
Yeah.
Jeremy and I were talking too. The first thing they do, I think Jeremy, he probably has the same experience. The first thing they do is website's trash. We got to build you a new website.
Oh, that'll be 10 grand. Yep.
Every one of them. Everyone.
Because it's the website for sure.
Website's trash.
We need, you know what, Chuck, your car needs a new engine for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to look under the hood. It needs a new engine, right, Mia?
Yeah.
Oh, and we need a new transmission too. So that'll be another $6,000. And you're also low on blinker fluid. You got to change the blinker fluid.
Absolutely.
What else can I try to sell you here? Let's see. You don't know any better.
No, that's my goal, is to know better. I don't mind having a VA do the work or someone helping do the work, but I want to know the work. I don't want to be in the dark. I want to know what buttons to push and how to do it, even though I'm going to have someone else helping me with it.
Exactly.
So,
and it is totally okay to ask those questions. And if they dodge, then you know something's wrong.
Yeah. Well,
you know Roger Wakefield?
Yeah, the plumbing guy.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the stuff that he and I have been working on?
I have not, but I haven't looked. I've been a little busy lately.
So just to show you what you and Jeremy have been talking about, we have made tons of these things. The truth behind SEO that marketing companies don't want you to know.
What is SEO really about? Who doesn't want to show up number one when someone types in Richardson emergency plumber? Of course. So that's why marketing companies are selling into that pain, because when they sell SEO, what you hear is, oh, you're going to help me rank number one on all these plumbing related keywords of people that live within 5 miles of Richardson.
Basically, he says that he's gone through 3 marketing agencies and paid $45,000 to make his phone not ring. And then we go on and on for 2.5 hours here about the very thing that we've been talking about here, what you've said, Chuck, to own the marketing. So if we can diagnose the issue and we're confident that we can have some VAs and Mia and whatever do it, then we can hold them accountable, which is what we call own your own marketing. And that way there's no need to just well, I'm trusting that Parker and Dennis are saying the right thing. Like, no, you can validate all of this. And then every week there's stats and there's a clear standard, right? You have to be licensed to be a restoration company. You have to be licensed to fly a plane, licensed to fix a car. You should be licensed to do digital marketing.
I agree.
So I would love for Mia, you're still in school though, right? You're still in college?
I graduate next or this coming weekend. So I'm like,
Wow.
yeah.
Why don't we, and I'm just going to make a suggestion. So you guys do whatever you want, but I would love for Jeremy to pay Mia as a micro agency, pay her, $1,000 a month, whatever, for the next 3 or 4 months to get the basic stuff fixed. And that way we know we can audit at any point. But let's say, in 3 months, we audit this thing and we see that when we do this, are you Googleable audit, which is what we've been doing here today, that it passes. I'm the city inspector. I'm going to come look. You tell me when it's ready. I'm going to come inspect. Right. And that way, Mia can do this for lots and lots of other restoration companies because her dad owns a restoration company and is super connected in this space. And then every time a restoration company has an issue, then they know to come to Mia because they can see here's exactly what has to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it works. And here's how we set up the ads. And here's exactly how the pages need to look. Yes, there's nothing wrong with templates, but the templates need to then include, the templates are a framework that allows us to include our experience. It's not just every, AI generated whatever, you know what I mean? And then Mia has an ethical, transparent, honest business where she can feel good about helping other people and doing it not in the way the other bros on the internet are doing it. She doesn't have to rent a Lamborghini or do any of that or make huge promises that churn out. And she feel good about doing this because it's her reputation, her dad's reputation, all of our reputation, Roger's reputation is all on the line here. We have to deliver because if we don't, Chuck's going to say this was a scam. And, I got scammed the last 3 times and Mia and Dennis and Parker scammed me too.
Yeah, that's why I'm big on, and I've always been like this, and I've always been interested in digital marketing and, Google AdWords and SEO. So it's always something I've been super interested in, but I always thought someone else could do it better than me, but they've proven me wrong time and time and time again. So that's why I want to learn how to do it myself so I can take control, and then I want to know how to do it. So I don't ever, like if I hired someone personally, and then put them through, let's say your training, I'm still relying on that person to be with me. So if they go on to a different venture, I've lost all of that. I'm back to square one. I have to be like that person. And then
but you don't want to be a VA. Like you want to have accountability, but you don't want to be so stuck in it that no one else can do it.
That's correct. But I want to know enough to where if someone else let's say they just moved on to another job or they flaked out, that it wouldn't completely stop. I could still pick up the pieces until we keep the ball moving until we replace them.
Well, people move on to different jobs, especially in the United States. In the Philippines, though, it's lifetime employment. That's what people understand. They're not constantly looking for jobs. So that the number one reason why we like to hire from the Philippines and Pakistan is they stay with you, not because it's cheaper. It's because the replacement cost and retraining, when that person leaves, you have to retrain that person. Like all the investment in them understanding the way you operate and your people and all that internal knowledge, tribal knowledge. So we believe that hire people that are going to stay in that role. And unfortunately in America, you could say whatever you want about, Gen Z or whatever. Millennials, I think, right? That, $20 an hour for working an in and out minimum, whatever. They don't stay in this role. So we like VAs because they will stay in that role and they'll work for $3 or $4 an hour and do it for years. Meanwhile, you have people who are more project managers like me and Parker that can supervise the work. And then at the strategy level, folks like Jeremy that are coaching other business owners. So I really see there being 3 levels here. So as long as we know, Chuck, that there is a tactical worker hammering the nail level that you need to understand enough to be dangerous. And there is sort of a manager, project manager, week to week, making sure we're following the SOPs, recipe, Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen, yelling at chefs, whatever. And then there's the top level ownership, financial, hold everyone accountable to the numbers. Then that's the winning strategy. But you have to understand there's 3 levels of that accountability. And if you do that, then even if people change, you have it documented. There's a clear process. We've had it before where people die on us or they change jobs, things happen and we can continue to operate because we have SOPs and people who are backup. Well, if Parker goes on vacation, then it goes to Danny or goes to they know. Like, that's the whole thing with 24/7. If so-and-so's not there, then who else is the backup, right? Then where's the backup from the marketing standpoint? Well, I throw it over to the agency and I assume that they have a backup. They don't. So Mia, her first role, even though she's new, her very first job is to create a backup of herself. Otherwise, then it's all on you, Mia, and you can never scale. Then you are just a worker all by yourself, not a company, because until you have other people that are following the SOPs and become micro Mias, you're going to be stuck in that role. But if you don't have SOPs, you can't duplicate yourself because then there's no consistency. Then like that person's going to do whatever because they're an expert and they're going to do it their way. You have no way to hold them accountable without an SOP. That's why we have all these SOPs. So the first thing I ask any marketing company, remember Parker, we had that call yesterday with this agency that they're making a lot of money as an agency and they've won all the awards and the owner goes out and says all these things and boasts about his great lifestyle. And he's celebrating how much money he's making off of, home service companies, which is fine. I have no problem with that part. But how many times, Parker, did I have to ask this guy, where are your SOPs? Show me one. I point blanked him like 8 times. Did he ever show one SOP?
No, but he promised he had them.
He did. He insisted till he's blue in the face. Never had a single one. So they launched a website, which is complete garbage, even worse than this one here, but then charged that guy an insane amount of money, as you can imagine. And I said, okay, how did this thing pass different levels of QA? How did this website possibly even go live? And there was no QA done. Oh, we have checklists. No, you don't. Because this thing fails any checklist. It fails all of our checklists. Oh, but they're proprietary. But we use checklists, but I can't show you because they're all proprietary. Really? Everything Mia is going through on the training, there's real training. It's not just like, well, Dennis just says this one thing, believe in Jesus, right? Yeah, faith is great, but we need to have checklists too. It all goes back to a standard. If there's no standard, how do I know it's being done right? This agency owner guy has 100 clients. He has no idea what's going on. He's too busy on vacation celebrating how much money he's collecting. He doesn't care about the home service businesses. He says he does.
Hey Dennis, what do you think about what are your thoughts about figuring out how we could get Chuck access to the content factory and then maybe
easy. Parker gives him access to anything he wants. Whatever Chuck wants, we'll give him access to. And then he can go to town. Some people, they, binge watch all these trainings or whatever and, order DoorDash for a whole week. You can if you want. Just know it's like going to the library. You're not going to be able to go through all of it. But it's there. The key thing is it's there and you can expect it. And then you know what the workers are doing, right?
Great.
Maybe we decide like, oh, YouTube, I want to learn about YouTube. Okay, great. We have all kinds of stuff on YouTube. Oh, I want to do Facebook ads. Okay, great. I want to make my website load faster. Okay, great. We have stuff on that too. All of it. No secret.
Great.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I would just like to start getting educated to some degree.
Educated from the standpoint of being a business owner that knows enough to be dangerous so that you can at least audit any work that's being done.
That's right. I don't want to be, like you said, I don't want to be the hammer, Yeah.
I'll be the hammer, if you know what I mean. and it's not that you're trying to save money. It's that ever since COVID, you have to control your marketing because all the technicians, all the people in your company, their families are relying upon you to make the phone ring. And if you have no control over making the phone ring, then you're at someone else's mercy.
And that's what I feel like right now. That's the reality. And Jeremy's probably the same way. Is both companies and 25 to 30 employees are at the mercy of the digital marketing company that you just looked at the website that they're managing and creating.
Now you know because they'll have you think like, oh, well, you're locked into a contract or it's proprietary or if you try to take it in house, it might fall apart. You're to try to scare you. Mm-hmm. But now you realize there's no risk except to leave it as it is, where you're just bleeding money and nothing's happening.
Yeah, that's what I was telling my GM a week ago. I said, we own it. It's not like it's a rented website. We own it, and there's no contract. If there was or ever it was, we were long past that, but I don't think there ever was. I said, worst case scenario, we just stop using them and we start saving thousands of dollars a month. Like that's the worst case scenario. And it's static, which I think it's been static anyway. So I don't think there's much of a difference.
Yeah, you can see nothing's been done. So A, off the bat, you're saving thousands of dollars, but B, more importantly, you can drive more phone calls.
Yeah.
And ideally, you have a Mia, but if not, use Mia for now and set up a monthly check-in where you have a 15-minute phone call to cover what's going on from an ownership strategic standpoint. But then Mia and or Parker has to send a weekly report to you every Friday showing, here's what we did, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's what we're going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's what we need from you. And that way you always know what's going on, but then you have a meeting every month to be able to talk about it too. Ask questions, whatever, which is not an agency relationship, right?
Yeah.
It requires that you have to talk to the practitioners. If you're talking to a sales rep or someone in a call center, a CSR, but not the one who's doing the work, They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
This is you talk to the mechanics directly. That's why the agency model doesn't work.
So how would I set that up with Parker or whoever to just start wrapping my head around everything with that? How do we get that process going?
So the first step is we want to go through the access checklist. And the access checklist is the way to verify that we actually have all, oh yeah, we own everything. And, we own the website and there's no contract. And okay, that's great. But, trust but verify. So first step is let's make sure. And if you want to watch my video where I explain what all the things are and why we need these things, and it's going through this whole thing, right? And if you want, download this, I want to say it's like 90 pages now. It's some ridiculous, this document, right? That goes through literally step by step how you click on Google Analytics and the Facebook Business Manager and this whole thing here, right? This is we're very serious about this. Like, why Snapchat? Why? Like, just because you got to claim your name on all these places, okay? Like, this goes through the whole thing. So first step is make sure you actually do have ownership on all these different things. And people will swear up and down, Chuck, oh yeah, I have it. I know you say you have it, but actually you only have partial access, or you didn't verify this thing, or it's under this other email that no one has access to, or just like we always find, like they always say they have it, but then we find out that there's something that's not quite right. That's actually critical. Oh, well, we have actually 3 LSA accounts and this one we don't, just go through the checklist, make sure we have all the things, right? And then the next piece is I would like for Mia to set up her version of this. This is just my recommendation. You take it or leave it. This is just a friendly suggestion, but set up what we call this conversion engine package, where it says here exactly is what's going to happen. Basically, we're going to put all the content on the website in the way we talked about, which means the business owner has to collect it and get with the technicians and change the process. He has 25 employees in each of these companies. Okay, are we, do we have enough to get the photos and the videos and put it everywhere and tune the pages to pass our Are You Googleable audit? And here's how long it should take to do these different things in the first 10 days. And let's assemble these videos. Let's run some ads. Let's tune our local service ads. It's all these different, here's proof of all these other people, right, doing it. And then she sets this up under her Mia Restoration Services.com or something like that, right? And that money goes to her on her bank account, and Parker and me and the other folks in our program coach her. And that way she's got her agency that's starting up, and you become the first client. And as she gets more and more clients by delivering good quality work, Chuck is going to tell other people about what happened. But if we don't do good work for Chuck, you don't get more referrals. So that's what I would like to see.
The pressure's on, Mia.
And then if you don't do it the right way, we have standards, right? But if Mia gets stuck along the way, she has other people she can ask for help, which is why we have this whole group of people, right? So it's not like she's to the wolves and she's all alone and has to fend for herself. There's a team of people that she knows she can call on for help. Even me, like I'm the lead surgeon at the hospital, but if the lead surgeon's involved, that's probably not a good sign, right? That means is that no one else could figure it out. So you don't want that's like House showing up, the TV show, like when he shows up, that means things have really fallen apart, right? So that's what I would recommend for you, Mia.
Okay.
You want to do that? This is a great career because you're an entrepreneur, but it's a safe bet to start a business because it's not some like wild idea. This is a proven path. There's a lot of people that need this help, as clearly you see right here. We know how to do it. It's not that hard. There's just lots and lots and lots of little details because you did it for your dad's business, but we're only part of the way there. And you do it over and over again for all the Chucks out there. And then meanwhile, Jeremy establishes a coaching business, which is like a level on top at the strategy level, which aligns with his vision and all the changes that have happened in his life recently.
Right.
And then makes me happy because this is what I like to see. So if Mia, you agree with that, then sounds like Chuck would be interested in this. Charge him charge him, $1,500 a month for 3 months, which is a steal compared to what he's been paying. But more importantly, we drive the results and he takes ownership of everything.
Yes.
What do you think, Chuck?
I guess I just need to have another conversation with Mia and Jeremy to see if they're
Okay.
if everybody's on board.
So Mia, are you cool with setting up your business bank account under the name of a company? You choose the name of whatever it is. I would recommend something related to restoration. So it's very clear that you provide services to restoration companies, and all the templates we have for setting it up, Parker and Keegan and Danny and Will and all these other people, you can copy what they have. And if you don't want to build a website, we'll just build it for you, right? All that stuff. But you have to set up the bank account. You have to go to the Secretary of State and set up your whole business license and that whole kind of thing, right? And then once you have that set up, then you send that link to Chuck and he'll pay. You can use our base camp, which is for project management. So, you can show Chuck how we organize that kind of stuff. And you start out with just one client because you're graduating in a few days. I would not recommend taking on any more clients until you've done a killer job with Chuck. Once you've done a killer job with Chuck, then, because I know Jeremy's going to want to start sending you all these other people, but wait, just get the thing going smoothly first, then bring on another 2 or 3 clients. But otherwise you end up with like 10 clients at the same time and you have a disaster, right? Don't do that. Parker was in that situation earlier. He had all these, he was so excited, he gets all these clients, and then, oh crap, I have to work till 4 a.m. every morning because there's too many, it's too much, right? Don't get, all the internet bros would have you think it's all about selling. No, it's not. It's about delivery.
Right.
Do just one, do just Chuck. Sure, it's solid, it's documented, then bring on the other Chucks.
Right.
I have to run to a meeting real quick. I'll say for Chuck or for Jeremy, for anyone, if you guys have any kind of request for audit, any other website, and Dennis is busy, feel free to just send it my way and I'll go ahead and send a full video audit, kind of like what we just did today.
Yeah,
If
audits
Dennis
all
is
day
too
long.
busy, then 100%.
Auditing is
I'll take
easy.
care of it.
Doing the work is something else. Right now, we're just auditing. Yeah, we haven't even done anything.
Yeah. By the way, Parker, if you got to go or something like that, you talked to my sister earlier. That's Carissa. Her husband's an electrician and they're opening a business. So that's who you audited earlier today.
Oh, fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Parker. And then as Mia's growing, I know I'm kind of counting chickens early, but as she's growing, she's going to start to quickly realize she has to hire people. And then she becomes a manager. And then you have to, all these people submit their resumes and they all say they're amazing, but they're not. So you have to detect who's actually good and run them through our checklist to see like who actually passes, who actually, they got to get 80% on the quiz to earn the certificate on each of the different modules. And then you pick the ones that you want to hire to be on your team. And then you audit their work on behalf of the Chucks. And that's actually where the majority of the work is. It's a people game. It's not the checklist. Like we know what the checklists are. We know how to do the audits. It's easy. Like you just saw, it's so easy.
Right.
The work, the big thing is the work has to be done correctly.
Heck yeah. Let's see how we can help Chuck.
Yeah. And this is good for everybody. And the way you do your marketing, Mia, is not through doing what the sales bros do. By you doing good work, your marketing's already done for you because Jeremy and Chuck will tell everyone about what's going on. You don't need to ever do any sales and marketing. You don't never need to hire a salesperson or anything like that because all these other people are just internet bros and they suck so bad. And plus it's good to have, females in home services. It's like, for some reason, it's like all dudes,
Absolutely.
Oh, we have our friend Cameron Snow, who I've known for a few years. I know he was listening and he's driving. Did you want to say something? He's also in our training program.
Yeah, I mean, that was really cool just to hear the whole process and see everything that happened. And congratulations, Mia, on hopefully your first client. So, and congratulations to Jeremy and Chuck on getting a nice tall glass of the truth. That was awesome.
But we didn't tell you anything you didn't already know.
Yeah.
You just happened to see it now and got it verified.
Yeah, you just gave me the details. I knew it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that. There was no selling required. I call it diagnosis. The surgeons in the emergency room don't need to sell. When patients come into the emergency room, they're in pain. I don't need to convince you that you're in pain. Mm-hmm. We just need to properly diagnose and then treat. And what I like to say to these marketing companies is prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. So if they're out there trying to sell you something before they've even done a diagnosis, they don't even have any x-rays or CT scans. How can you make a diagnosis if you don't even have any equipment to do the analysis?
Heck yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you guys feel like you know what each of you need to do from here?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you can count on me or Parker or Cameron or any of the other people. But the way I see it, we are serving Mia. And by serving her, everyone wins.
Definitely.
And then Mia, because otherwise it sounds like this is too good to be true, like she's being handed a business and getting all this help and all that. But what Mia's agreeing to do, and I'm hoping you say yes, but you don't have to. But as your business starts to grow, you agree to pay it forward to help other Mias. In the same way that, I help Parker and he's agreed to pay it forward by helping you. And so it's not an MLM. It's called apprenticeship,
Right.
which has always been in the trades. It's always been, I don't know why like Americans have forgot about the idea of being an apprentice, but you're getting help from someone who's senior because you agree that as you get better, you are going to help other people. And we're going to transform this whole digital marketing industry by having people who believe in this standard.
Right.
That's what you don't need to pay me or whatever. You agree this is what you believe in. And if you do, then you have me fully in your corner.
Great.
Okay.
I appreciate you, man. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, guys. Well, anything else?
Nope, I'm good, man. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us.
No, you guys are doing good things, and there's a lot of people that need help, that are in pain, that are getting ripped off, or whatever you want to call it, you know?
Heck yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I'll send the recording out later, too.
All right,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Bye-bye.